There's new toxic weapons in Modern Warfare 2 coming in the Tracer Pack Poison Dart bundle with green/acid tracers and dismemberment effect. The first weapon in this is the Feeling Froggy for the Chimera, Pro Tune for aim down sight speed, recoil stabilization, and sprint to fire speed. Here's a little sneak peek at the reticle and the different tracer effects, which look pretty sick. And since this is for the Chimera, we should also be able to use these tracers on the ISO Hemlock. Then we've got one for the Magnum, and this is the first Magnum to have tracers here in Modern Warfare 2. This is Pro Tune for aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, and damage range. Then we've got a Toxic Waters boat skin, we've got a weapon sticker, and we've got an emblem. All this for 1500 COD points. First, let's take a look at the blueprints. Here's the Chimera. This is super vibrant in game. It's got a bunch of different colors here. You've got the red, the yellow, and the green pattern down at the bottom. Take a look at the bullets. They're green/red there. Now for the pistol, and then let's go ahead and reload it once we actually pull that out. Unfortunately, we're not really going to be able to inspect this and look at it because the revolver inspect, you just spin it around a bunch of times. So, but it looks a lot like the Chimera. Once again, if we go ahead and look at the bullets, you can see they're green/red there. Now let's take a look at the tracer when we shoot them up in the sky. And when shot up in the sky, they just look like a neon green. Now let's see those impact effects. Yeah, that is a lot of toxicity. These are definitely... Oh my god, it's just poison all over the place. Same thing happens when you use the Magnum here. Do these have a custom laser? I think maybe when you ADS. Oh yeah, so there's the laser. Oh, and it's a poison effect that follows you around when you ADS. There's also a custom reticle, but it's kind of hard to tell with the custom reticle because of that laser sight. Once again, we should be able to use this laser sight on other weapons because that's how these work in Modern Warfare 2, but all it is, it's the same as the impact effect. It just follows you around here. Then is this a hip fire laser on the Magnum? Yeah, so the Magnum has the same thing, except this one you don't have to ADS for it. You get two of them when you run the Magnum akimbo. Now it looks like little eyes on the wall when we move around. And then we can just shoot at the ground. Dude, there's just so much poison all over the place. There doesn't appear to be any sort of lighting effects on these weapons, but you can still see the toxic tracers very well in the dark. Actually, there's like a mist that comes off. You didn't really get to see that too well in the light, but yeah, super noticeable down here. The lasers also really stand out in the dark. Here's the blueprints with mastery camos, and you can kind of see some of the effects underneath, but not enough to matter. And then here's a look at the snake shots, which we can't really see too well. Okay, the platinum camo looks pretty sick. The entirety of the top of the weapons got that discolored green, which is super noticeable. Polyatomics, all right. It's kind of noticeable on this. Orion's interesting. It kind of goes together a little bit. Boeing Blossoms actually looks pretty cool. This might be my favorite way to run it. Ooh, the solid camos are pretty nice as well. I don't know if I like this or the Boeing Blossoms more, but the solid matte black on it looks fire. Now let's take a look at the hit marker and dismemberment effect these weapons have, starting with hit marker. So yeah, it appears to just make them very toxic with toxic stuff all over. It appears to be a little bit of a mist. Pretty much the same effect you're going to see when you hit the ground. Now let's see what happens when we actually take an enemy out using it. And his leg came off. Second time's the charm. And once again, it appears just to be a basic dismemberment. Their limbs are going to come off when you shoot them using these weapons. Shooting bodies with these weapons might be one of the most toxic things in the entire game. Wait, hold still. I want to try something. So if we just... oh my... And yes, these tracers do work on the ISO Hemlock. So here we go. You can see we're using the ISO Hemlock with the toxic tracers all over the place. Same thing, the red dot sight works on this as well. Let's see these tracers in action. And they're pretty noticeable on shipment, even though it's a darker environment. Oh, guy there. And if you shoot the wall in front of you, it is going to make it a little bit harder to see. Got him. There's another one. And I did take the sight off of this just to see what it looked like with the iron sights. Because being honest, I really don't see myself running a sight on this. The Chimera's a lot better with iron sights. This is a really close range weapon. And you're just wasting an attachment sight. Or you're wasting an attachment slot if you put in a red dot sight on it. Now for the revolvers. And yes, these have snake shots on them. So these are going to be a little bit extra toxic. And once again, I did change the attachments a little bit. I put a Kimbo on them. Because if I'm running the Magnums with snake shot, I'm not using it single. I'm using the double. Boom, 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 and boom, and another. Oh, another one. One more in this corner. Nope, he's gone. So the pro tuning in the attachments that come on these blueprints by default are not that great, and I'd recommend changing them. Most of the time we get pro tuned weapons, the attachments are pretty solid, but this time around, they're not worth using. All right, let's see what this boat skin looks like. And oh wait, does it glow? All right, let's get to a safer area. I think this is actually an animated boat skin. I think it's got some... Oh! See, this... I did not see this at all in the previews. But yeah, the boat skin actually does light up. It's got a little toxic green effect all over it. So I think this is now the third, maybe fourth light up vehicle skin in the game. And you wouldn't even be able to tell from the bundle menu. I'm glad I went in game and tested this because sometimes I forget to test the vehicle skins. But this one's pretty sick and definitely going to be the boat skin I use from now on because it's the only one that glows. Now let's see what happens when we take all the attachments off these weapons. Sometimes it ruins the weapon, sometimes it doesn't. Chimera still looks pretty solid even with all the attachments off of it. And yes, even if you take all the attachments off this weapon, you are going to keep the tracer fire. The only thing that's going to get rid of this is if you change the ammo type. So we change the ammo type, load back in game. Oh, that's the snake shot. You will see there is now no tracers on these weapons. Now let's do the exact same thing for the pistol here. And yeah, unfortunately, the revolver, when you take all the attachments, is a little bit worse. And it is going to take off the tracers for you. You have to run the snake shots on these if you want to be able to use this. You would be able to use these tracers on other weapons, but no other weapon in the game has snake shots, so the pistol's the only one you can run it on. Then if we're looking at the ISO Hemlock, if you want to be able to run the tracers in the ISO Hemlock, you've got to go to the ammunition, look for the 300 blackout rounds, and put on the Feeling Froggy. Then if you load in game with this, you will see we now have the ISO Hemlock with the toxic tracers on it. Same thing for the laser sights. You're able to use these in other weapons. So if we go to this laser right here and we go to the Feeling Froggy, load in game with it, it's going to work the same way for the sight as well. And you can now see we've got that custom laser sight on a different weapon here. So any weapon that has that attachment, we'll be able to use this on. And for the final test, let's see if these tracers work in DMZ and Warzone. And yes, they work in DMZ. And the dismemberment effect seems to work as well. This guy lost both of his legs there. Overall, this bundle's kind of cool. I mean, I really like the tracer effects. I like tracer effects that are just super out there. And these toxic tracers, in my opinion, they're not the best tracers in the entire game, but they're just different, really unique, and I like these a lot. And I think this bundle's a decent value for what you get. Yeah, there's only like 5 items in the bundle, but you got to understand, most of the time when people buy these bundles, they're only buying the bundles for the tracers. So you're spending 1,500 COD points, you're not getting, you're not getting a calling card, you're not getting a bunch of other stuff, but you're getting 2 weapons that come with pretty sick tracers. And the fact these can be used on the ISO Hemlock is one of the coolest things, because even after the nerf, the ISO Hemlock is still a pretty meta weapon. So I could see myself using the ISO version of this. And same thing, the Chamara is also pretty sick. And I don't know, I don't use this snake shot too often, so I'm probably not going to use it on the revolver. But I don't know, pretty sick tracers. With that, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Let me know how you feel about this bundle. And if you want to see any more bundle reviews like this, where we show off absolutely everything you can possibly want to know before you buy the bundle, make sure to unlock the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.